closing in on 200. Hey Internet, this is Chaz.
This is Dan. Welcome to Wine is Serious Business, episode 195.
Getting up there.
Closing in on 200. Kind of excited about that. Chaz has a bunch of traveling coming up. I don't know if we're going to make 200 before that happens or not.
We can probably pop out some episodes before all that happens.
Yeah, it might happen. It's pretty close. Then we got the blooper reel, right? He doesn't need to be here for that.
Yeah,
That's
we just need to make it 199.
That's all
or more
material, yeah. So I bet we can make that happen. Anyway.
Go ahead and keep talking.
All right, tonight we got 3 bottles of wine that I've had on my shelf for a few months. Wanted to make this show happen. We've just been slow about it. 3 bottles of Gamay Noir. I've had some really enjoyable experiences with Gamay from Oregon, but you don't hear people talk a lot about it, right? It's like the unpopular little brother of Pinot Noir. It's another red grape.
Same way in Burgundy, right?
Yeah, totally. What was it? Was it exiled from Burgundy? Like the disloyal Gamay was not allowed to be grown there?
Oh, that I don't know.
By royal edict or something like that? Like,
okay.
Get it out. So
this is a story I've not heard.
So bad news for people who love Gamay at that point in time, but good news now, because if you like it, it's half the price of Pinot Noir. So
it really is. And it's the ones I've had in the past I've been a fan of, but Pinots I've always enjoyed them more. So
yeah,
I haven't really explored Gamay too much. Like, this is going to be an eye opener for me because I haven't tasted through wines like this ever. So.
Yeah, so to me, like, the good ones are still like really fruity and spicy, but on the lighter side, a little more acidity, so they work well for me. We'll see how these play out. We've got an interesting range of producers here too. First off, kind of one of the old guard, so not necessarily one of the original producers, but he's been at it for a long time. Been biodynamic for a long time. This is Brickhouse. We haven't had their stuff on the show in way too long either, so happy to.
It's like an 08 something or
yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But biodynamically grown, really well-known producer. Just Gamay Noir 2011, Ribbon Ridge.
Demeter certified.
Yeah. So.
And yeah, definitely one of the old guard. I would say for Brickhouse, I've had a lot of good experiences with old Pinot Noir from them.
Oh, really?
From like mid-90s, late 90s stuff, drinking wonderfully. So interested to see. I've always, wondered what their game was like. I just never, like, if I'm going to pay $25 a bottle for it, well, I'll probably just go buy a bottle of Pinot instead. So
sure.
It's, sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
Pretty good aromatics. There's like this like kind of like brighter spicy note that I feel is kind of typical for Gamay, like a little peppery, a little bit of cherry on there. There's a little bit of leather too, which kind of surprised me. That's not something I would normally have associated with the grape or expected, but.
Now that you say the peppery notes, they definitely, so for me it was starting off sort of like dry grape stems, but now that you say pepper, like there is a little bit more sharpness to it than I initially thought, but man, just really nice forward red fruit flavors. Like, there are some nice strawberry flavors. There's a little bit of the Twizzler candy thing going on, just a touch in it.
I can see that. Yeah.
Like the freshly opened Twizzler candies. But the underlying like earthiness, peppery notes are quite nice. So it smells good. That's just delicious.
Yeah, man.
That's really good.
Pleasant, solid. Easy drinking reds. Good little bit of evolution there too, I think. Yeah.
I would say so. But structurally, this thing is so delicate and I hate to use this word, but it's elegant. This has an elegant structure. It comes across very light, but everything, the acidity, the tannins are like very present and very, just very elegant. So. Crazy. Yeah,
I like the tannic structure quite a bit, and I'm getting like the cherries with a little bit of pepper on them. They're like spicy cherries is probably the best analogy I can make. A little bit of rose petal going on late.
Agreed.
Kind of as the fruit fades out, you're getting a little bit of just like ghost of red fruit in the background, which is a cool evolution.
Yeah, the like spiced red fruit thing, like more spiced cherries, peppery cherries kind of going on, but you nailed it with the roses. Like it tastes like I just stuck a fresh rose, like right after it bloomed, just stuck the whole thing in my mouth. Like, it's got a little bit of that going on, or a lot of that going on, I would say, in the finish. So
feels a little hollow right on the center of the palate to me. I'll say that I'm getting just like a touch of bitterness there. Kind of the best flavors I'm getting around the sides. but not enough to take too much away from it.
I don't have the experience, but
I'm glad I brought it up then.
my mouth, yeah, I've been awake for a long time, so yeah.
Yeah.
But an enjoyable wine. It would be interesting to, I guess, I don't know. You can't really put this, apples to oranges with Pinot, because they're two completely separate things. But
it reminds me a little bit of like the really fresh young Pinots, right? Like the pick it, vinify it, bottle it, get it out the door, because there's that kind of like little pop to it. But,
agreed. And this sort of has some of that, right? And part of why I said that was that it'd be interesting to like blind their, was this 12?
11.
11? Their 11 Gamay and their Pinot next to each other and just see what happens. But
yeah,
I think some people can be fooled.
I'd like to think I would, but blind, I wouldn't say like, oh, it's obvious.
Right.
Yeah,
It's not.
I can
not
see myself
terribly
getting it
obvious.
wrong too. Yeah.
But overall, a really cool wine, very enjoyable drink, and I really like the way the structure comes across. At least for me right now, really digging it. 89 points, like it quite a bit.
87 for me. That remark I made about it being a little more hollow in the center holds true. If I drink it more quickly, it actually is less of a problem. It's more enjoyable. So I think it's kind of good for like hanging out and socializing. But well put together, and I think like a good sense of balance with all the components already too. So
I completely agree.
yeah, enjoyable wine. Now on to a couple of newer winemakers. So next up, this is also the 11, I think, right? Yep. Gamay Noir from Bow and Arrow Wines.
A lot of buzz on the internet about this wine.
Yeah,
I
so
see stuff on Facebook, I see stuff on the internet about Bow and Arrow wines. And I had their Pinots, they're wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So, been really excited to try this out.
yeah, so Scott Frank's the winemaker. He's the husband of Dana Frank, who did an Austrian wine episode with us a long time ago now. But I hear great things about both of these new ones. I hear a lot of talk about them when they're released. They're both new winemakers, and people, there's a lot of hype when these Gamays come out, so I've been really excited to try them. And like I said, they've been out for a couple months now. Us being bad hosts, it'd probably be really hard to buy these if you wanted to at this point, but that means the next vintage isn't too far away, so.
That's true. Cool package.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, solid pour. It's Friday.
It's a Friday pour,
Getting
yes,
down on
sorry.
Yeah, getting down on Friday, so.
Quite a bit darker than the last one.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. Is this 12 or 11? These are all 11s, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is
Is that
bottled in
12?
McMinnville. There's no designate Willamette Valley. It's got to be 11, right? 12. This is a 12.
That's what I said. I
okay.
swear I saw one of them
Okay.
that said 12, and I was like,
That's all right. Getting vintages wrong 2 shows in a row now.
yeah.
That's all right.
I was bad on the Chardonnay show. I was,
It made it exciting. It made it a lot more exciting, though.
it's blind. I don't know.
We got an Italian Twitter follower off of that too.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that Italian Chardonnay was definitely weird. That was
Yeah.
one of the weirdest Chardonnays I've ever tasted. So,
All right.
all right. So,
Bow and
into this
Arrow,
thing.
Gamay Noir, 2011.
Man, there's a really cool aroma on this. It reminds me of like fresh pomegranate, but it's like
That's so much better than the spicy cherry thing I was talking about.
a li-
That's really good.
It's like it's a sweet and sour aroma at the same time. That's
Yes.
fresh fruit.
Yes. Ooh, pomegranate. Yeah, pomegranate.
like a ripe
That's dead
pomegranate,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, you just tear the thing apart.
It smells delicious. It smells good. Now, granted, that's all I'm really smelling on it. Not even the seedy component of it, right? Like for me,
Right.
it's really just fruit and.
And I'm getting a touch of, I'm not even so much black pepper, but more like, I'm thinking like there's potpourri or like allspice or something. So like spicy, nutmeg, little clovey. There we go. That's
There we go.
pomegranates and cloves.
That
That's
makes sense.
it.
Yeah,
I talk my way.
I would agree with that. It smells good. Yeah. Hey, that's delicious.
Easy drinking.
Yeah. That's
Not
good.
a whole lot of evolution, but there's a great like clean feel to it. It's refreshing. The tannins are slow.
11.5 alcohol.
He's settling in
That's
the mouth
the-
to dry things out. Yeah.
I love low alcohol wine. Like really low alcohol wine. I'm finding like just the weight of it and the way that it comes across on the palate. Like a lot of these ones that are under 12% alcohol just have this like very delicate, composed, really nice, light texture. But when they're good, they've got a lot of flavor intensity, and this has that. So
super nice wine. The slow evolution of these tannins is really fantastic. Like you really get to enjoy the fruit up front.
yeah,
Feel it slowly dry up, makes you want to reach for another sip. Fruit flavors have this great sense of like clarity to them. It's really refreshing.
to me, it's definitely like on the tartar, sour, like more sour side of red fruit. Pomegranate and raspberries, almost exclusively,
Sure.
is all I'm tasting. And then, but just the way that it delineates. I've been awake too long and I've been drinking,
No, you're
so
doing
my
good.
grammar's
You're doing
horrible. The way that it delineates through the finish is just, it's really nice. That's fantastic wine. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, it delivers, the flavor's pretty straightforward, what you get on the nose, but just, yeah, with great poise, it's really, I could drink a lot of this.
Well, yeah.
I could drink a lot of this.
Definitely not the most, like, if you're looking for like a more complex, like, you know,
No.
whatever, like, you got to know what you're going into with this sort of wine, and this, I think, for what it is, does what it's doing perfectly.
Yeah,
It's
the price
doing-
is just written a little on it. I paid just under $20 for that, like for
Right.
for a
sub
friend-
$20
for a
bottle of
friendly
wine.
red, killing it. Yep. The only like
Two thumbs
if
up.
you really hate acidity or whatever, like maybe it wouldn't work, but
You see, it's working for me today.
but for me, yeah, man, this is a really good place.
It's because while the tannins have sort of a delicate feel, the acidity is strong, but so is the flavor intensity, and
Yep.
it only makes the fruit seem fresher.
Yeah, totally. So 89 points for me. Might seem a little strange with the excitement. I would like a little more complexity to push it over. It'd be a couple wow moments. As it is, this is like the 89 point wine with just full recommendation. It's like the full package for kind of straightforward, enjoyable drinking red. I really look forward to trying the 2012 when I get my hands on it. So, rad.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. 89 to 90 points. I'm falling somewhere in between there because my big struggle is that like it doesn't have the complexity, it doesn't have the like really nice texture that I look for in like a wine that is what I would score 90 plus, right? Like, but for what this wine is, it makes no missteps. Like it is
Yep.
a fresh, delicious Gamay, easy to drink, fun to drink, and is even based on the acidity levels. Like I'm pretty tough when it comes to acidity, and I'm having no problems with this. So I love it. 89 to 90. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go right in the middle. So
Well put together. It's cool.
good
stuff.
job, Bow and Arrow. You guys are making some good wine. So all right, so the Division guys.
Yeah,
Check
next
this
up
thing
we've got, the Division, another Gamay Noir. This is 2012, so break the vintage continuity
yeah,
a little
we
bit
screwed
here.
up.
But they're making wine out of the Southeast Wine Collective. If you live in Portland and haven't stopped by there, I really encourage you to
I
do
haven't
it.
stopped by there.
Oh man, it's a cool spot.
Yeah,
A bunch of winemakers. They got a wine bar, so you can go in and taste all
Check it
kinds of
tomorrow?
stuff. Yeah, dude, totally. It's,
Maybe I'll go
it's a
tomorrow.
good place to check it out. Yeah. But nice folks. Same thing. I hear a lot of talk about this Gamay when it's released every year. So I was really excited to check it out.
Well, he makes a red Pinot every year.
Mhm.
That's something we know. The Un we've done on the show a couple times, or once before. Sorry.
Yeah.
Big pours, big Friday
Yeah,
pours.
Yeah, that's how it's going to be tonight. Big glasses.
Bam. All right.
They don't make an Oregon Gamay Noir glass, do they? No, I don't.
I don't think they do. Do they even make? That's a question for you guys. Do they even make a Gamay Noir glass?
Yeah, do they make a Beaujolais glass or anything like that for Riedel? You got someone out there would know.
Yeah.
What do we got?
63 cases.
All
Gamay
right.
Noir.
Tiny.
Final pH 3.66. 65% whole cluster. Carbonic maceration and fermentation in cement vat. 13.5 alcohol. Anyway,
Alright.
yeah.
2012 substantially warmer than 2011 too, so
Yeah.
that's not a huge surprise.
And man, this is coming off way darker on the nose.
Yeah, oh, even in color, right?
Yeah. It's like far more earthy. The
Whoa, this, yeah,
the bow and arrow was like all fruit and really easy and delicious, and like ripe, delicious fruit right in your face. And like this is earth and like little.
Getting some like grape candies or like maybe even like like a little bit of grape soda.
I would agree. Yeah, it's like grape Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah.
But underlying that is like a cluster of old grapes that have lost all their juice with the stems, and just like I'm getting like a little touch of like cement or black top.
And so it's fermented in cement.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it makes
something in cement.
Because the cementy quality definitely comes through on the nose a little bit. Just on the finish, you're like, it's not black top, but it's not like it's like gravelly, but not dirty.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yeah. Wow, this is way more powerful than the last one.
Totally different. A lot fuller fruit across the board. Like you can tell, right? Like the alcohol level's a little up. I can't taste that so much, but the ripeness of the fruit is really evident. It's like darker and just fuller throughout the palate.
I agree. Well, fuller in the extent that like, while there was good flavor intensity on this one, this one is almost in context. It's almost blanketing.
Yeah, it's so weird. I was like kind of getting into a groove, and then this is like in a different category entirely. I'm trying to recalibrate my palate.
Yeah, this is totally different than the first two wines, and being 11 to 12, it's gonna happen, right? So, but this is much darker fruited, much more earthy,
right?
And sort of mineral driven, you could say, as opposed to the first two, which were very much fruit driven. This one's a little funkier, and for some people are into that, So.
And just juicy, dark grapes on the palate. Like it reminds me more of like grape juice as opposed to like the soda. It's not like really candified or synthetic. There's none of that going on at all.
There's a little bit of grape candy going on there.
Yeah, a touch of candy.
A touch of candy, yeah.
And then you're getting just these like rich, dark flavors.
Well, maybe not so much on the palate. You're right.
Just a little touch of that spice.
Nose is there.
The spice, the spice is subdued compared to the previous wines. I think too. This is way more just fruity.
You're saying this wine's fruity?
This wine's way fruity. You don't get that?
I find this one way more earthy compared to the last two.
Huh?
But had no fruit or no earth. Like this
has got,
I
can give you that.
This has got a lot of fruit, sure, but like a ton of earthy aroma, like darker fruited flavors, like the old grape cluster. A little bit of like stoniness and a little like I wanted to say a little bit of tar, but it's not that. It's not that dark. It's not that dark.
But I get that like
there's
that
something
stony
there.
Flavor. Tannins are kind of slow to build up across the palate too. Like got a little more of a grip. A little more of a grip than this one.
The structure is definitely more in the forefront.
Man, it makes me wish I had tried their 11 because this is just such a dramatic difference. And to be fair, if we did two 2011 Pinot Noirs and a 12, we'd have a similar experience, right?
Yeah. Knowing Oregon as well as we do, like when we did the blind Chardonnay show, it kind of worked out because it's three different regions, but this is three places that probably got grapes from somewhat similar areas, and yeah, doing 11 and 12 next to each other is difficult. So, not to say it's not good wine. It's fantastic wine. I mean, it's just different, and I think I prefer the 11s more personally. The 12s are going to be big. I don't know how much 12 I'm going to buy.
I want to wait to taste them, right?
Yeah, I'm wait to taste them.
That's a luxury we have, right?
Yeah.
You get to go tour and check things out.
You get surprised. Like 12 on paper sounds like in places it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be really cool, and so really excited to taste them. Really excited to buy the wines that I always budget myself a certain amount of dollars to go out and purchase that. But
really, you stick to a budget with your wine?
Yeah, just Oregon.
Oh, all right.
Just Oregon.
Okay.
Germany is.
I was going to say. I mean, I've seen what happens when you go to the store.
Binopolis is trouble with me. But yeah, 10 was a complete outlier. 11 I haven't purchased a lot of, but I'm really liking everything I see from them. 11s are beautiful.
Yep.
And,
but they're still around, right? We can pick them up.
Yeah.
Pick them up at shops. Pick them up at
I venture to wonder if it's going to be like 07, where like 11 sort of got lost in the mix between 12 and 10. like 07 got lost between what 5, 6, and 8, you know,
Sure.
probably.
Yeah.
And so I can still buy 7s at retail.
Right.
You can still buy a 2007 retail. So is 11 going to be like that? I think it will be. But, wonderful wines for peanut lovers.
So what I think is getting me about this is that fuller and darker fruit is definitely there, and it's going kind of away from that pomegranate and more into the like dark cherry. Maybe a touch of grapefruit there to spice it up. A little more like the nutmeg. But the spice doesn't pop as much. So it's a little heavier than I'd really get into. But it's still full in there, and honestly, you know, if you are, if you like a little more weight to your wine, like I know that there are people who this would be like hands down the favorite over these other two, right? Like if you if you like a little more weight, a little more richness to your fruit, like this definitely.
That's a good way of putting it, because there is a little more richness to the fruit flavors here.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just a little more rich. So.
Yeah. So some vintage character. To me, honestly, it's a full experience. I like it a little more than this. So it's going to be 88 for me. You know, I would like a little more complexity, and for my palate, a little more lightness and acidity. But I think part of that's the vintage character coming through. And with 12, that'll be less common.
It's totally I think it's totally the vintage character coming through, and honestly, I think this wine, at least for me, for my palate, suffers a little bit being in this lineup. Like I really prefer the lightness and the delicacy of the first two as opposed to this one. Personally, every person's going to be different.
Yep.
Not to say this is, and when I score this, like you sort of have to take your own personal judgment away from it for some point, because this is delicious, it's wonderful, there's nothing wrong with it at all.
No.
It's just, I definitely prefer the first two as opposed to this. So 87 points for me.
Sure.
And still a delicious wine. What's the price point? No idea.
These are all right around
24,
20,
23.
Yeah, just below, just above 20. It depends on where you buy it, whatever. But yeah.
Division's making cool stuff, and every palate's gonna be different. And I'm just, I think the 12s. I think if I had a lineup of 12s, I might like it a little more, but I don't know. So.
I'm curious to try, and you can expect like more Gamay from us in the future. I won't say for sure soon, but it's a grape that I like, and I think it's really underappreciated. I'm excited that people in Oregon are making it, so I hope to explore some more on the show.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, this is my first big eye-opening experience to it. And it's delicious. It's a good grape, but I haven't had much of it. So, and Oregon's really starting to turn out some good ones apparently. So, I see it get run up every once in a while. So.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right. Question of the day. So, kind of big news. I guess that this has been out for a little while, but I finally got my hands on one for pretty much the whole time that this show has been going on. I worked on Intel's Haswell chip, 4th generation core chip. They've been out, released for the public, you know, since June or July or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I finally got a hold of one for myself, got some components. This may be the last desktop I ever build, right? Because like technology is just kind of going to prepackaged computers in a box. But
It really is.
but we'll see. But I got the parts. Like I'm putting this together. I'm building it. Super excited. It's the first processor I've ever worked on through the entire design cycle. So a little bit of pride
It's gotta
there.
feel good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to hear from any of you. Have any of you purchased, you know, the 4th gen core chip, the Haswell chips? What do you think about them? Let me know. I'm curious. I'm a little attached to it. So.
I have
Chaz
not.
made them too. So
I was working in the factory that had a piece of that, but granted, I was just sitting there watching machines work. So
yeah, keep the
All right.
machines healthy.
Let us know.
That's what we do full time. So
yeah.
yeah, love to hear about it. Thanks for watching.
See you guys next time. Cheers.